going to become a global movement soon, and we are indeed very honored to be a part of it. On that note, we would now like to invite our dance panelists. I request Surekha ji to please pin Padma Shri Srimati Geeta Chandran ji, Shri S. Jayachandran ji, Srimati Ramya Ram Narayan ji, and Srimati Lakshmi Babu ji.
Can you say the names again, if you don't mind?
Yeah, Padma Shri Geeta Chandran ji, Shri S. Jayachandran ji, Srimati Lakshmi Babu ji, and Srimati Ramya Ram Narayan ji.
I think you said one more, right?
Yes, Lakshmi Babu, Srimati Lakshmi Babu, and
yes,
Srimati Ramya Ram Narayan.
The spotlight for Lakshmi Babu already. And
Yeah.
And Ramya Madam, yeah.
Ramya Madam was actually just traveling from the US to India. She has landed and she has been informed, and I'm sure she'll be joining in a few minutes.
Okay.
I've been here.
Oh, Ramyaka, could you please? Yes, she's here.
And the video has also been, I'm not sure if
Yes,
you're
we can see you, ma'am. We can see you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, panelists, for taking time out and being here today. I would like to introduce you all to the gathering, please. Padma Shri Srimati Geeta Chandran ma'am is an accomplished Bharatanatyam dancer known for her decades of dedication to the classical art form. Trained in Carnatic music, she brings a unique flavor to all her performances. Geeta ji explores the connections between body and mind, solo and group dancing, and uses dance to express abstract notions. She also addresses contemporary issues through her classical performances. Geeta ji has received prestigious honors and awards. I request the rest of the team members to please mute. Thank you. Geeta ji has received prestigious honors and awards, including the Padma Shri, the Central Sangeeta Natak Academy Award, and the Tagore National Fellowship. She was recognized as Nritya Paranjyoti in 2020 by Abhay. Thank you, Geeta Chandran ma'am, for being here today. It was also a great honor to be present with you at the webinar at the launch of Vedic Wellness University. It's a pleasure to meet you again, ma'am. Thank you for your presence. I would now like to introduce Srimati Lakshmi Babu. Lakshmi Babu is a disciple in the Guru Parampara of Kuchipudi dance and is the founder of the Kuchipudi Dance Academy in Washington, D.C. Trained by renowned gurus like Srimati Shobha Naidu, she has nurtured many students preserving the rich traditions of Kuchipudi. Lakshmi ji's contributions include workshops, tours, and acclaimed productions, elevating Kuchipudi to a global presence. Her commitment to the Guru Parampara has led to the establishment of the Lasyam Creative Media. She continues to shape the cultural landscape, ensuring the legacy of Kuchipudi thrives. Thank you, Lakshmi Babuji, for your presence here today. Thank you so much. I would now like to introduce you all to Srimati Ramya Ram Narayan from New Jersey, a choreographer, performer, and a teacher educator. Counted amongst the leading exponents of Bharatanatyam, Ramya Ram Narayan combines legacy, expertise, and experience. A prodigy of two exponents of the dance form, Kalaimamani S.K. Rajaratnam Pillai and Padma Bhushan Kalanidhi Narayana, Ramyaji is recognized as a capable performer, choreographer, educator, and a torch-bearer of this art who blends tradition with innovation. Ramyaji is a recipient of a number of awards from India and US. She is an A-grade Doordarshan artist, ICCR empaneled artist, a Tamil Nadu state awardee, Kalaimamani, and a roster artist at YA and Pentacle. She has also received the Artist Fellowship Award for Choreography from Mid-Atlantic Foundation of Art. Thank you, Ramyaka, for your presence here today. I know you've just landed in US and you're really jet lagged, but you've taken the time out to be here. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite Shri S. Jayachandranji, who's a dedicated practitioner of Bharatanatyam with a background in electronics engineering. He has transitioned into dance and received training from esteemed teachers. His research on the temples of Tiruvarur and Chidambaram has garnered recognition, and he has performed captivating solo shows. Jayachandranji continues to contribute to Bharatanatyam through workshops, research, and teaching. We had just conducted a workshop yesterday, and all the teachers in New Jersey are so grateful for your presence here, Jayachandranji. And I would now like to open this panel for the discussion on the topic, preserving and innovating tradition, fostering collaboration in Indian classical dance. I would now request Padma Shri Geeta Chandranji to kindly start her point of view. Thank you, Padma Shri Geeta Chandran.
Thank you so much for having me. I think this is a absolutely phenomenal work that you all are doing, because we live in times where everything is in silos. Dancers don't hear music, and musicians don't watch art, and nobody watches theater. So it's in those kind of silos that we live. So it's important to talk about interdisciplinarity, talk about wellness as a whole, because only when we are truly interdisciplinary can we even aspire to be well. So I guess if you see dance as just learning an item, then I think wellness is nowhere in the horizon. So I think we have to have a much wider understanding of what the performing arts can offer us. Unfortunately, the entire pedagogy is geared towards performance. And that is, I think, the least important in the learning and teaching of the performing arts. If performance happens, it happens. But the learning and the teaching and the process is what creates the wellness quotient. Nothing else can create the wellness quotient. Performance is a one-time thing, and it's really not the real essence of learning and teaching the arts. So I'm so glad that we are talking about this. And as we move ahead, I think we are only going to have more problems, more stressed out children coming to us. At age 9 and 10, I hear the words, I am depressed, I am bored, I don't know what to do, I feel like crying. So I think these are situations that are real and are here to stay. So how are we going to make the pedagogy of dance holistic? How are we going to make the essence and the traditional values that we stand for, which are eternal, expressed through the arts? How are we going to teach these values to the next generation? These are some of the challenges. We need our roots, but we also need to fly. So unless the roots are not kind of holding us back and pulling us down and weighing us down, in the name of tradition, I see many of the things that are not desirable we are holding on to. I think we constantly need to sift through tradition. What is relevant? What is done? What was done at a particular time in history, at a particular context, need not become the yardstick for us now, and we hold on to it and we say this is it and this is, and if you don't look for explanations and we just say this is how it was done and hence we do it that way, I don't think this argument really holds ground anymore. We need to constantly engage. We constantly need to look at tradition and see what works today and how are we going to take it forward and adapt it to this changing scenario. So I think these are some of the issues that I have constantly been addressing and facing with my students, because I'm not one who mentors or does workshops. I just teach in my class. So I am one who is responsible for a child from age 7 to whatever. So I take that full responsibility of seeing the wellness of the child through the learning, through the performance, through the entire engagement in the arts. And that is, I think, how our teachers did it. They saw us through. It was not coming and going and somebody and somewhere, some influence. So I think we have to give the children a philosophy towards the arts, a discipline which not only roots them to a tradition, but also gives so many windows through which they can view tradition. Through philosophy, through spirituality, through rhythm, through poetry, through literature, through multiple disciplines and multiple areas, because each one engages with a different aspect of the dance and finds that connect with the art. It is not one size fits all. So we just are there to show them this entire range, because I think my tutelage has been like that, because my first teacher, she never looked for perfection. She just threw you in the deep by giving you so much material that by age 10, I had 4 Tanjavur quartet varnams and 4 Jatiswarams and 4 Tillanas and Shabdams and what have you. So they didn't wait for you to kind of reach a certain perfection before they could move on. They would just throw you in the deep. They just wanted you to know the entire possibility of an art form. And then you slowly sift, engage, move, navigate, question. I think all this happens. So the viewing of the arts is itself a technique that the teacher has to kind of, in the process, give the child and transmit it as to what she views, how she views, and what are the wonderful things that one can get out of this beautiful garden as inspiration. So a single frame on a painting can give you an entire piece. It's just that moment when you see something, and that's the beginning point of an inspiration that you follow. So I guess you have to follow your heart and not really see what works. Unfortunately, today's generation is geared by what works. Now, this what works is something that worries me, because it's a journey and you do what you enjoy doing. And if that joy is there in dance and in that exploration, then automatically you become a great artist and not just a performer. Thank you.
Beautifully said, Akka. Very, very,
Beautifully
very
said. Very
eloquent.
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's very engaging when you explain it, because I felt like I was in a classroom with one of my gurus, and you've always inspired me with your work, and today is no exception to that. And I'm going to piggyback on a few points you had made, because many of us in the United States do teach our students in continuance. We are not seeing them once, one-off item kind of a teaching. And it's not just an ongoing process when they are with us in the classrooms. It is a lifelong journey, as you said, and perspectives of their choosing their life partner, what they want to do in higher education, how they want to, where do they want to choose to live within the United States. Even to that extent, they are consulted with teachers like us, because we are like a second mother to them. And that mentorship and friendship goes very tight and strong. Not, as you said, like I have a group of students who have studied for 15 years and now they are learning choreography. And I'm talking a lot about how a piece is to be understood. Where does the understanding begin? Where do you start reading? What do you read about it? So there is a lot of like points that I give them, and they come back doing some basic framework and research, and then we propel on the piece. And then I'm just a spectator in the classroom, and they come up with the skeleton of each of the Pallavi, Anupallavi, or whatever the piece might be. And they're brilliant. They have the capacity to really put together about 6 of them, if they're working together as a team. They have the capacity to bring that piece to a final motion. But as you rightly put it, to reach there, it is a long journey of learning, interdisciplinary understanding, and always be show by example. During pandemic, I happened to do a musical temples and dancing sculptures, a virtual program where I roped in different Carnatic musicians, dancers, and historians, and that threw a lot of light on topics which we've taught in the classroom. But when such an really immersive experience happened in my life, they turned and looked at it and said, wow, this is interesting. And that led to a very small group of students who are visiting me. Like, I've just landed in India and they are going to see me from next week. And they wanted a 2-week dance intensive in India, where they also want me to take them to temples, meet other experts. So I'm lining up experts that I feel they should meet. So it can only come with that friendship and that long connection you make with these children. And I have to tell you, many teachers in nook and corner of United States are doing exceptional path-breaking job, which their names are not even heard and recognized, but there is a lot of potential and a lot of good work that's happening in the US right now. And I truly have to say the quality and standard have risen since I've looked at it the last 3 decades, and it is it's very refreshing. And I'm going to end with that note, and to be in community with you, Akka, Lakshmi Akka, JC sir, and all the other experts is very humbling. Thank you so much for having me here and for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Ramya Akka and Geeta Chandran Akka. I would now request Lakshmi Akka to please say a few words about innovation, tradition, and collaboration. Kindly unmute yourself, Lakshmi ji.
Thank you so much, Nirupama. It's such a beautiful session, pre-launch. You know, I'm mostly in my classes, always tied up. I never get out. And this one, I just literally had to bring myself out. And after seeing the panelists that I'm with, the distinguished and esteemed panelists I'm with, I'm kind of tongue-tied, especially after Geeta ji spoke. And I kind of warmed up with Ramya Garu. So here I am. I'd like to touch upon the topic of how the possibilities are endless. It's only a drop that I live in a very small drop of a bubble, and I enjoy it, first of all. And I feel that everybody who comes to me has to have that same joy. We may call it a discipline, but it's not really a discipline, because unless you embody it completely and feel for it, I don't think you can go anywhere, because like someone said, it can be boring, it can be monotonous, because in this stance, there is a lot of relearning. You learn, you forget, you approach it again, and you see the same thing in a different way. So when we deal with these children who are growing up with us from when they are toddlers, literally, they can't even walk, and we introduce them to dance, they come back to us with all these questions, and then we begin to explore it together. And when we do it together along with the students, it's so much more fun. And this is just the beginning of summer. And I told my girls, make a vocabulary of dance words. You have endless amount of information on Google. Put that vocabulary together and explore. Let's explore the words together. Let's see how many words we can get done by the end of summer. So we have to go down to the level of the students to be able to reach out to them and also understand what we are teaching in a different way. That's where I come from.
Thank you. Thank you, Lakshmi ji.
Yeah, very recently we celebrated the 25th anniversary of my dance school, and that was Rajata Shobha, Dr. Shobha Naidu. And we went back and we brought the Kuchipudi Yakshagana tradition. Guru Vedantam Venkatachalapati beautifully taught us Prahalada Charitam and Usha Parinayam, Bhama Kalapam, all of that. And the students enjoyed it so much because all this time they were doing Kuchipudi as a solo or Nritya Natika. When they were giving the chance to explore and do Vachika Abhinaya and do the dialogue delivery, they loved it. They don't want to go back. They actually went back and now they're like, okay, let's start this from here. So new things always are exciting, and I'm excited on this new journey for myself and my students too.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi ji. I'm sure, just in a matter of 4-5 minutes, so much exchange, so much inspiration has already happened to all the students and panelists. On that note, Jai Chandran ji, we invite you to please share your thoughts.
Namaste Geetaka, Namaste Ramya ji, Namaste Lakshmi ji, and Namaste the wonderful stellar cast, including the Maharaja of Mysore, for his thana, which has fostered especially this question, the patrons have dealt with this in their intellectual capacity, what it means to preserve and what is to innovate within tradition, and how to foster collaboration. Here the word goes Indian classical dance, but I would say they have taken this particular word as Indian life itself. In the presence of such an austere office of the Udayars of Mysore, one wish to corroborate with the word, what is worth preserving? The first question, is anything worth preserving is to be for the posterity? And in my opinion, the fundamentals of any knowledge system is worth preserving. Rather the formed product, as Geetaka already said, because the fundamental this has been thrashed over centuries of thinking of great thinkers across the panel, it has influenced, it has been a crystallized version of many thinkers across the board, and finally they have come to form certain fundamentals. And I think this is common to any given knowledge system, that fundamentals are like seeds. They are dry in its existence. The moment when fundamentals meets the soil and touches with moisture, it sprouts, or else it can be cleanly preserved within a bottle. Fundamentals are as dry as a seed, but all has to remember that there is a potential of a banyan tree within a small seed. So fundamentals are explosive in nature, and if at all we are preserving anything worth preserving in the tradition, it would be the fundamentals. And fundamentals have a capacity, it could look very finite, but there is always a surrounding infinite around it. A finite is always encapsulated around an aura called infinite. The infinitude is what we are marching towards, but for that we need something finite to start with. But when it comes to especially innovation is the only exchange forum through which traditionalists have met their normal day-to-day clients. Behind the doors, all the traditionalists were great scientists. They were great thinkers. But when they had to meet the common people out there as artists, they wear the garb of the artist and they come out. And even today, artists like Geeta ji here and Ramya ji, Lakshmi ji, and all the artists here, all of us know behind the screen, most of us are thinkers. And when we meet the audience, we become innovators. We have to become innovators because we create things then and there, and we have to cater to certain needs of the era, certain needs of our social engagement. At that level, innovation has been happening, and we are living example for one of the most fantastic collaboration happened in some 150 years. Example like a violin getting adapted and adopted into the scheme of South Indian music. Now it's hard to even imagine South Indian music without that one instrument, and many more has come up. And today there has been a complete parampara of violin tradition in Carnatic and in Hindustani per se. And this is what I wish to call the strength of Indian tradition, for preserve its fundamentals, but yet apply and innovate for anything which is modern. And when it comes to collaboration, I think this is a way forward, as Geetaka said, that we want to go forward, and these principles are held tightly to us, and we create material for it is more currently the need is to cater to holistic needs of every individual. It's not just to entertain, it's not just to present it. It's much more needed as an education now. Dance as an education, arts as education is much more up the street, and it is time has come that is going to in near future it's going to enter the main curriculum, because many technical top-notch institutions in India. I'm currently a lecturer in International Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad, which is one of the top-notch technical institutes in the country. They have, for a long time, they have been contemplating and decided to have a humanities and an arts center in which I'm working. I teach dance to engineers. I teach dance to master's students. I teach dance to PhD graduates. And this is not just in IIIT. All the top grade technical institutes across India has thought about introducing art in their full-fledged, straight, pristine engineering curriculum. So it's the way forward. Innovation has already started happening, and we have to buck up, pull our socks, and we have to go not just meet our audiences, but meet our young minds who are hungry there, who want to know the reason. I mean, it is just time, right? Time is very ripe. Actually, interacting with the young minds of India who have cracked all their JEEs and they have come in and studying in IIITs and NITs and IITs. One thing is very strongly one can observe a pattern is they have a lot of questions, but many of them are unanswered and many of them are falsely answered. So this is a great responsibility what the tradition has given to us, and we have to shoulder it, that we have to meet the thinking minds of the next generation and foster them, the need to preserve the fundamentals and the need to innovate for the future. And henceforth, collaboration can happen not just within the artistic circuit, but with every possible knowledge systems of the world. Thank you. Yes, Akka.
I just had two quick points because I didn't really go over the three words: preserving, innovating, and collaborating, because these are very subjective to everybody. Preservation can have a lot of different meanings for different people, because what do you preserve, as Jayachandran said? Because what Jayachandran would think would be preservation, might not be what I think as preservation. So we all come from different perspectives. So preservation is something that each one of us defines for ourselves. Again, innovation is very dangerous, because every child today thinks what she's doing is innovation when it has already been done. So we have to be very careful when we use these words. I'm doing something new. I'm doing something absolutely fresh. I think it's what is new today is going to be old tomorrow, and what is old now has been new at some point in time. It's a continuum. So this whole thing of innovation is very dangerous. So I just feel each one is innovating as you are sitting in class and teaching, because you're revisiting all the techniques, all the things that your gurus told, and trying to make it adapted today. That's innovation. So I don't think innovation should be seen as a laboratory where we are innovating, creating great new equations or great new things that so from the old, how are we kind of in a sense making sense to the next generation would be innovation for me. And collaboration, as Jayachandran rightly said, collaboration is a very large term, and each of us have a certain aptitude for collaboration. I could collaborate with many years back, when I did it 20 years back with Drupad. I could say that that was the music that I had grown up with. I'd heard so much of Drupad, and that I really wanted Drupad in my dance. So 20 years back, I did that. So sometimes a Western music score really just rings with you, and you feel like dancing to it. So I think collaborations come out of your own, like I come to dance from music. So for me, music is my entry point. So I think collaborations for me have always been with different genres of music and different kinds of approaches to music. So I think collaboration comes for different people from their own entry points and from where they come. Again, I performed dance. I've always performed dance in North India. And for me, audience, I never understood Telugu or Tamil. So I had to go to Hindi, and I was very young when I started being exposed through Jamuna Krishnan to Surdas, Meera, Vidyapati, Ras Khan, all this poetry. So it enriched me in a different way. So each of us, I think, is doing collaboration, sometimes not even realizing that we're collaborating, but definitely I think we have to keep our eyes and ears open. Another very important thing is that Jayachandran rightly said that this might be coming into the syllabus, and unfortunately, I'm doing a lot of work on arts education in schools, and I'm brainstorming with so many teachers. I find the paucity of good, well-informed, rounded teachers. A teacher in a school who's teaching dance has no clue about what is music or theater. Or so when you choose a particular activity in school, it's dangerous, because then you don't know anything about any other activity. So I think the interdisciplinarity has to come there. So in many schools where I am kind of associated, I have common classes where they all watch films. They have guided viewing. They have to write about what they have seen. So I think, or heard. So I think these are techniques where if in class 6 somebody chooses music, the person doesn't even know where the dance room is. So I think it's very unfortunate that we are ourselves making silos as we are trying to say we are propagating culture. So, I mean, it doesn't work. And then we have to go to a triple IIT to make them sensitive then. So if we start early and we make this interdisciplinarity as the base of education, and how maths can be taught through arts, or how geography can be taught to arts, these are something that we have to see. So art for art's sake and interdisciplinarity in the arts, these are very, very serious topics that need separate deliberation. So we are all, and the best practices are never shared. We don't have a platform to share best practices. This is the other big issue. So if the Wellness Institute can take up these two things, one is training teachers, training the trainer, which is so important, where when you have a dance teacher must know theater, music, visual arts. So you have to have a curriculum to train the teachers where all of them go through all the things, right from architecture. Everything should be part of that training of an arts educator in a school. It cannot be in silos. They cannot introduce themselves as I teach tabla, not even saying I teach rhythm. Even that is not there. I teach tabla is what they will say. So I think that myopic vision, and the person here doesn't really relate to the Hindi teacher or the Sanskrit teacher within the school. So the resources even within the school are not shared. So I think we need a lot of work. I can go on and on, but and so one is training the trainers, which is, I think, going to be a key. Even if you introduce the best syllabus in schools, you're not going to be able to teach it unless you have good teachers. So this is something that has been bothering me as to why nobody is taking up this particular issue, where we need to have very good teachers.
Interesting you mentioned that, Akka, because I'm part of an organization called Dance to Learn, which is a state-run organization in New Jersey. And this is exactly what the Dodge for Dance is doing to all of us teachers. We are just 9 of us in the entire state who visits parts of New York and Eastern Pennsylvania and all of New Jersey. And we go into different schools and we tap into as young as 2nd graders and embed our dance performing arts curriculum with math, world history, social studies, and we kind of marry it with the curriculum in the schools, and we meet the students during the school hours, not as a extracurricular post-school. And I am always working with the classroom teachers, coming up with what works for that class, that school, that even the time of the day I meet the students. If it's later in the afternoon, they're going to be really distracted. So my curriculum is different versus when I meet them in the morning, and each of us have to go through a long list of training sessions that the state offers, and it's mandatory because I'm a state artist. So what you said is already happening in the United States. And it is a very well-designed program for younger generation, and they think 2nd through 5th grade is where you can make your mark. And that's where they tap in. And this program is going on for 10 years to just give you a perspective how it's been well thought out in the United States.
It's an amazing
Namaste.
session so far. I really have this. There is so much input and every information shared. I think we just Krishnamurti ji, we need to have more of this. I request Vedic Wellness University to really take up these notes. Ramya Akka is here in the US doing a lot of work already with the education systems in school. And Geeta Chandran ji just said that word training teachers is such an important aspect of preserving the art form, so that we who are all students also get this opportunity to learn from such acclaimed and such experienced artists and people who are not just with art, but on a whole level, like on a holistic level, how art benefits you. I think that's what we all need to focus on. And I really want to thank all the panelists today for sharing
Namaste.
such thought-provoking thoughts. Yes, please.
Yeah.
My name is.
Who's that? I just
Hello.
want to
Yeah,
add
Nagan.
one sentence here. Here we actually have started Train the Trainer program in yoga, and we would like to also start the same with other branches also, like Bharatanatyam and music and maybe visual arts. As you all know, like it's all a combined field, like arts and culture. So we should have interdisciplinary approach towards training the trainer. That is that is there in our vision, and we'll soon do that. And we have so many experts here in the panel, and I'm so happy to hear all your advices. We'll surely incorporate all this. Yeah.
Thank you, Rashmiji. I think Vedic
Yeah.
Wellness University
Thank you.
is going to be like a big umbrella promoting art and culture. And like always, Krishnamurti sir says, I want the next Nalan. I want authenticity. I want to do good work for everybody so that we preserve our arts and traditions in the way that it is supposed to be preserved. I think a lot of us think we are preserving it, but we need guidance even as to how to properly preserve it. So this beautiful discussion. I'm sure I would like to thank you all on behalf of Vedic Wellness University.
I heard somebody saying that, right? I mean, somebody wanted to add a line. Was it Nagendra Shastri, sir?
Yeah.
No, he will come.
Yeah.
He will join in the music panel discussion, Rashmi.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Thank you once again, Shri Jayachandranji, Srimati Ramya
Namaste.
Ramnarayan, Srimati Lakshmi Babuji, and Srimati Geeta Chandranji. Thank you all for taking the time out and engaging.
Thank you all. I just wanted to say Vedic Wellness University belongs to all of you. So you can take it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geeta. Thank you, Ramya ji. Thank you, Lakshmi ji. You're part of a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much.
You made the evening very colorful, all of you panelists. Humbly, feeling very humbled being in presence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Now,
much.